So I might be that Sagittarius who dislikes summer, but the best part about it are all the book releases. Hi everyone, Holly here, and today I have more than a handful of books coming out in June, so grab a snack, make some room on those bookshelves, and let's jump right on in. Remember, if there's a book you're excited for that I don't mention, let everyone else know. Let's go ahead and get started on June 1st, which is all about debut novels, starting with For the Wolf. Now, I have already read this one, and I will be reviewing it in a video later on in the month. This book actually has you exploring a bloodthirsty sentinel forest with our Little Red Riding Hood inspired main character, Red Cloak and all, as she is sacrificed to the said forest and not only finds a very dark hidden secret hidden within, but also a dark hidden magic within herself. If you were looking for a story shrouded in complete mystery that is actually kind of complex and really has you wrapping your brain around, check this one out on the 1st of the month. A full review to come from me later on in the month. Up next, we have a brand new historical fiction fantasy, The Chosen and the Beautiful. This is a queer magical retelling of The Great Gatsby, set in the jazz age of 1920s. Tor is really hyping this one up for good reason in terms of diversity. It's told from the point of view of a Vietnamese American woman. The length of this one is kind of in between a novel and a novella. It's about 270 pages long, and hopefully it can really uproot the classic in such a short amount of time. I'm so curious on how the magic is going to be implemented into the story because it is a fantasy, so I mean, I guess we'll see. Also, the author is clearly blessed with beautiful covers. I mean, I look forward to more books by her just so my eyes can be happy. Moving right along onto June 8th, I have the Jasmine Throne. Tasha Suri is back with a brand new fantasy series. She mastered the art of storytelling with her release of Empire of Sand in 2018, and the Jasmine Throne will hopefully build upon her great success. This one is pitched to be following morally gray characters, but specifically Sapphic Indian enemies to lovers as they set ablaze an empire together. It truly sounds like a character-driven plot, and not necessarily just to suck you in by story alone. Both would be great though. Honestly, it sounds like a ton of fun. I cannot wait to read it. The adult SFF community have been raving about it. The Wolf and the Woodsman also comes out on June 8th, and it's really easy to understand that this book is being compared to the works of Naomi Novik and Catherine Arden, as this book is a lyrical, transportive fantasy story with Hungarian history and Jewish mythology. The plot itself sounds incredibly similar to Uprooted, where the woodsman visits a village once a year to take away a magic-wielding wolf girl for the king. Our main character gets chosen when she's technically not supposed to be and gets tangled up in all of that business. I am so excited for this book because supposedly the steam level is low and the gore level is high, which is a perfect recipe for me. The Coward. As you can tell, I own a lot of these June releases, which I'm very grateful for. So this is an adult fantasy coming from Angry Robot, the first book to the Quest for Heroes duology, which was confirmed by the author on Twitter. I want to mention that. And I am super hyped for it, clearly, as I'm reading it next, or I'm currently reading it when this goes up. Now, I don't know if this is a fantasy that's going to have, you know, like elaborate lore or a huge world to explore. That rhymed. It honestly sounds like a super classic sword and sorcery type, and for a lot of people, that sounds like a lot of fun, including me. We have a main character who isn't your stereotypical heroine. Can you guess? He is obviously the coward, who joins an interesting group for a quest. I feel like what you're getting is all laid out for you by its cover and synopsis, and I really like what I'm seeing. Look for it when it comes out on June 8th. Oh, and my review for it later on in June. Fire with Fire. This is a YA fantasy following sisters who kill dragons together. Essentially, they are dragon slayers, and I'm already on board with it. Skyrim be sweating. The setting to this one, though, is contemporary, taking place in the eastern part of the United States, which is very interesting to say the least. I can't imagine how dragons got here, but we'll probably just shoot them down anyways without question. So if you're looking for a contemporary dragon story following a Latino family, this one is coming out very soon. Moving along to June 15th, The Tangle Root Palace. I'm sure you know who Marjorie Liu is. She's the mastermind behind the monstrous graphic novels. This is kind of in the same vein, as it is still a smaller version of a full-length novel. This is a collection of 6 short stories and a novella. All of the stories here are written by Marjorie, I want to make that clear, and they all hold a wide range of genres, ranging from fantasy, horror, science fiction, and post-apocalyptic. There's one about witches, a Sleeping Beauty retelling, an alternate history kind of story. Everything to satisfy your genre sweet tooth. I'm so curious on how all of these stories are written, as I am only used to her writing in graphic novel form, so I'm expecting her writing and world to still be just as detailed. Bloodlike Magic, an urban fantasy young adult debut following Voya, who is a black witch from a long line of witches. When she is on the cusp of getting her powers, she is told she has 1 month to destroy her first love, or her family will lose their magic forever. Honestly, one of the most interesting things about this novel, in my opinion, is that it takes place in 2049 future Toronto. A lot of people are excited about that. A Canada setting, as you don't see that very often in fantasy. Hopefully it can retain all of its magical flourishes and praise it is getting amongst its early reviewers. The World Gives Way. This sounds like a darn good dystopia sci-fi. That's what it kind of builds itself upon, following a woman who is a contract worker. Things, I guess, go awry in her life that involves murder, and she's on the run with a child as the world is ending. Also, something about a spaceship they're on that is disguised as a planet. It's actually a really clever combination of ideas, and I hope it works really well. It sounds really unique and emotional. Hopefully it remedies all of our burning questions. Plus, the hardcover is absolutely stunning, and if you are looking to purchase it yourself, it's coming at you on June 15th. 7 Deaths of an Empire. If you're looking for a new grim dark fantasy to get lost in, this book will for sure fill that empty void, as it is a chunky one. Not only is this an interesting looking fantasy with a lot of different things going for it, you have politics, magic, a setting inspired by the Roman Empire, and an emperor's dead body which must get back to the capital. It also boasts some pretty epic fight scenes and emotional character development. It's heavily being pitched as Anna Smith Spark meets George R. R. Martin meets Mark Lawrence. So again, grimdark to its core. It is a really promising sounding book, and I think a lot of you are going to be just as excited to read it as I am. Star Eater. This is a book billing itself as a cannibalistic dark sci-fi slash fantasy, and I am very intrigued by this. As someone who enjoys dark telling stories, I think this one sounds like a very tantalizing idea. It's almost like a science fiction version of Handmaid's Tale, with ritually cannibalistic nuns who unintentionally create zombies. It is honestly gushing with such a gory aesthetic, and I think there lies its best potential. It's really being marketed as a bit of a horror novel set on a desolate planet. And it's not too long of a book either, and I'm still unsure if it's a standalone or if it's the first book to a series, but nonetheless, I'm very interested. Catalyst Gate, the third and final book to the Proctorate trilogy. As someone who read and really enjoyed the first book, Velocity Weapon, I'm very excited for this one. If you are a fantasy reader, this is potentially a perfect sci-fi series for you. I think it's really going to open up a door for you. The book's biggest selling point, in my opinion, is its kind of sassy, sentient spaceship that I'd consider to be a companion to our main characters. I freaking love that spaceship. This author seems to be the kind of where each book of hers gets better and better. That's really all I hear, so I expect this finale to be explosive. On June 29th, Gearbreakers releases. I don't know why, but this book just screams video game to me. Maybe it's the mix of the cover, the title, and also the synopsis, but it really gets me excited because it builds on a lot of stuff that just sounds so badass. We have giant gods and mech, queer girls. It screams a bit of cyberpunk to me as well, with it being compared to Pacific Rim and Red Rising. It's young adult, but supposedly really depicts the horror of war. I also want to mention it is a debut, and we can just hope they just knock it out of the park and we can get some really cool sounding stories like this one by this author, and also beautiful covers, to be honest. This Poison Heart, really saving one of the best covers for last because this is freaking gorgeous. I just want to read it so I can confirm that it's good and get myself a physical copy because damn. This is from the author who wrote Cinderella is Dead, which was a big hit last year, and she is back with yet another YA fantasy retelling of The Secret Garden. That's right, it has plant magic, dark forces, Greek mythology, mysterious ancestral legacies that just layer upon layer of goodness that I am really excited for. Catch me reading this one for sure in the near future. The Return of the Sorceress. Silvia Moreno Garcia is popping out books this year like freaking popcorn, and here is one of them. The short novella that I just recently finished, and wow, it packs a powerful punch as it's following a sorceress who once ruled over a guild and had a great power because of a precious stone. Now time has passed and she's on the quest to get the stone back, as well as stop her power-hungry ex. This is for sure a revenge story within a dark atmosphere, but added bonus of humor, as our main character has a magical companion and they care about each other so much. It's freaking adorable. Personally, I love this author. Mexican Gothic is one of my favorite books, so I couldn't imagine me not liking a fantasy by her. I will be reviewing this one more thoroughly with my rating and all in a future wrap-up, but I still highly recommend. And that is going to be it for this wrap-up for June 2021. If you want more monthly book releases, be sure to subscribe as I do them every single month. Comment down below if you found anything new. Follow me on my socials. Everything is linked down below for you. Thank you so much for watching, and until we meet again, happy reading.